Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. How you guys doing out there? Today we're going to cover a team which is so incredibly strong. I'm going to start this video out a little bit differently and start by actually showing the team in action, and then we'll review the champions that compose this team. But I was thinking to myself, you know, a lot of you guys in the comments, basically every video talking about how you struggle on Doom Tower. Not just, I hear you guys, not just on the bosses, which we've discussed, you know, quite a bit here on the channel. I need to do more as well, but just really these floors, right? Especially on hard. We are in Doom Tower hard right now today, and yeah, man, it's a challenge. But I wanted to think of kind of outside the box ways that you could approach Doom Tower in terms of all of these floors, especially just without using a Seer team. I feel like everybody who has Seer pretty much leans on her very, very heavily, especially the higher that you go on these floors. But if we do say 79 right now, this is the team that I got thinking about. So what do I need? Well, let's make an all stun team, right? And this really revolves around, I mean, all these champions are important, but Armina is huge in this particular composition. I have her in a very interesting build in Relentless Gear, and she's going to be our DPS on this team. She has a really cool kit where she steals turn meter on targets under decreased defense, and she also has this decreased turn meter of all enemies by 20%, and then has a 100% chance of placing a stun debuff on one turn on enemies who have their turn meter fully depleted. And then her passive fills this champion's turn meter by 10% each time an enemy receives a stun debuff. So between the Relentless Gear and the Head of Steam passive, she's going to be going again and again and again, and just it's going to be crazy. I want you guys to take to keep your eye on her turn meter as we go through today's video. We also have Bellower in a stun set. We have Scyl of the Drakes, who's a great stun champion in a stun set as well. And then we have Archmage Hellmut, who a lot of you guys are starting to unlock, or maybe you're halfway there. At one point, you guys will have you know, access to him. He has on his A2 attacks one enemy, also attacks all other enemies if the first attack is critical. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing a stun debuff for one turn after attacking, decreases the turn meter of each enemy without a stun debuff by 20%. Nice synergy having the turn meter depletion there on that ability as well if they don't have a stun, which will synergize with the A3 of Armina, keeping those turn meters low. The idea here is the opponent rarely actually gets to even take a turn because we have 4 stun champions with Skytouch Shaman. Skytouch Shaman's role on this team is really for the revive on death on the very first turn in case the enemy team is faster than we are, but really the block debuffs for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown is going to be incredibly important here because, you know, eventually the opponents will get a turn, and having those block debuffs is going to be really crucial to keep this team alive because there's not a lot of defense on this team. It's a different approach to Doom Tower. It's a different approach to any dungeon. And even if you don't have all of these champions, it still is a strategy to think about. 4 stun champions, and they'll be essentially stun locked the entire battle. The opponent team, no matter how strong they were, will seldom even have an opportunity to go here. And you can already see there's only 1 stun up, but, you know, they're about to get stunned again. You know, there's going to be endless stuns between 4 champions that actually have them. However, as you guys can see, we are being attacked here and there. All you have to do really is withstand 1 or 2 blows. That's why I love having a champion like Skytouch Shaman, because not only that, you know, the block debuffs, but also she's the healer on this team along with Scyl the Drake. So we're getting our heals off of our passives, which is really nice to have on this squad. So again, going into round 2 here, going to start landing some stuns with Bellower's well, whatever. All of his attacks are an AoE attack, but you can see, keep your eye, guys, here on Armina. She's all the way to the left here. And keep an eye on her turn meter. Just kind of watch right above my head. Watch her turn meter go. It's going to be pretty crazy the amount of times she's able to just cycle to more turns, you know? I think that we'll see 2 or 3 champions go, and then boom, she's right back up next in turn because of all these stun lands, right? So again, that was her A3 there. Not too much on her A3, but again, it's her turn again already. That goes in for the A1. I have a very interesting build on her that I'm going to show you guys as well. I have attack percentage on her gauntlets. Only because it's a really good speed roll, a triple speed roll on that piece of gear. But I figure I built her in very high attack and you know, not so high on the crit damage because she's going to be going so often that I wanted that extra speed on the gauntlets. And did you see that turn meter, guys? It was crazy. I mean, Really cool champion to put in a team like this in Armina. You guys know I was really bullish on Armina when she came out. I still am. She has an AoE decreased defense as well. I think I showed you guys that very, very momentarily when we took a look at her kit. But I'm going to show you not only more... Actually, you know what? I wonder if this team would work in the arena too, like a stun lock team. We'll mess around in the arena. I'll show you this team in another dungeon, maybe one of the traditional dungeons as well, and then we'll take a look at all these champions and kind of how I have them built out. So it's not the fastest team in the world, but we are on Doom Tower hard level. I don't know, I forgot what level it was, 70 or something like that. So it's going to take us a little while, but you can see things really never in jeopardy here. I will note too that I have Skytouch Shaman in immunity gear, so she's not putting that fear on herself, at least not the first three rounds, or the first three turns, excuse me, of every round. So here we go, finally making our way through, and you guys can see that Armina is going to be putting out so much damage, even compared to Bellower. Armina only has one AoE attack. Her A3 doesn't do damage. Bellower has 3 AoE attacks. Every single time he attacks is going to be an AoE, but Armina will still out-damage Bellower, which is pretty impressive, just because of all these turns that she is taking. And I haven't seen a ton of relentless procs either from her. That's not to compare her to Bellower. Bellower brings his own, special kind of utilities to the table here, right? You can see all those debuffs. Well, at least 50% of them are from Bellower with the weak version of decrease attack, decrease defense, etc., decrease speed, block cooldown skills, everything that he has. So things pretty consistent here. I think this is a strategy that a lot of you guys are going to want to employ on Doom Tower, right? And again, you might not have Archmage Hellmut yet. You will get him eventually. You might not have Scyl of the Drakes yet. You will get her eventually. You might not have Bellower, but again, you can pull Bellower. He's a rare champion, albeit a void one, so he's a little bit more accessible. Really, the two most difficult champions to get here, with time being that mitigating factor on Archmage Hellmut, of course, would be Armina, who's just an epic champion, and of course, a Skytouch Shaman, who is a little bit more difficult to get. Look at how much healing she did, by the way, 2.1 million in heals. That's pretty incredible. But again here, guys, Armina putting out the most damage. Even if you didn't have Armina and you just wanted to put somebody else in her spot, it could just be a decreased defense champion. I would probably choose a champion like Stag Knight, who also has the decreased attack if you have access to him. Decreased attack and decreased defense on one champion, really solid to have. And I would put my Stag Knight in a shield set to sub in for Armina. That way you're going to sacrifice a little bit in less stuns overall, but at the end of the day too, you will have that shield to help you, survivability every round until you kind of get your turns going and you get the synergy going of all those stuns landing on the opponents. So really fun team here, guys. Let's go ahead and show off, let's show them off really, actually let's try them out in the arena. Just have a little bit of fun here. I don't know if this team is fast enough necessarily, but we can mess around, right? We had a video on Scrapper yesterday. That was a fun one. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's put we don't really have a speed lead, so to speak, on the, actually, yes we do. Speed and Arena Battles, Archmage Hellmut, I forgot that he had that. So we'll go ahead and utilize him as our aura lead. We'll put Armina in there and then Scyl of the Drakes. So a triple stun team. Let's go ahead and see how this does. I think it's going to do pretty well. I don't think the opponent's going to get a turn here. So let's lead off with, okay, so Archmage Hellmut's going to go first. Let's go with his A3. Just put the increased crit damage. Let's go ahead and put Immortal Skies up, block debuffs, and then let's go in with the AoE attack from Armina, land those decreased defenses, and then let's start the stun, man. Let's start the stun. Armina's turn meter already at 75%, already almost full again. Let's go with more stuns. And boom. We land none there, actually. That was unfortunate. Either way, it's okay. We're back to our turn again, and now we can just basically go auto here. Not the most difficult arena team, but you guys can see kind of how it works, right? It's the only challenge here is that if the opponent goes first with an all-nuke team, then you're kind of screwed. There's not the survivability on a team like this to allow you to not go first. So that is kind of the downside to this team. But it is a very fun and effective team nonetheless. It's a team that you could take into, especially if you have a cleanser in that Skytouch Shaman part. It doesn't have to be Skytouch Shaman. It could be even, who could I run with a block debuffs? who's a little bit more accessible that I have built is the big question. Let's go against a one more team here in the arena. Let's just go against a kind of an OP team and hope that we're faster and see what happens. So we don't have our Arbiter and we don't go first. So we're not faster and we will probably die as soon as Foley nukes us down or Inithwi knocks us down here. So let's go with a Revive on Death, block debuffs. We're still alive. We just need... Turn down for what? We just need to, you know, start rattling off some stuns. Block Revive, it doesn't matter because Foley killed them. And yeah, they're not going to work if you don't go first, especially against good teams like that. Let's try one more team. I lied. Let's try one more team. Yeah, they probably have... We tried them. This team is going to be super easy. So let's go against them. Hegemon is no worries when you have a cleanser in immunity gear. You can see again immunity gear. She's going to resist. And then boom. We have block cooldown skills, no big deal. Strip them away. And then we're right back in the driver's seat here. Now we can start landing our decreased defense, start landing our stuns. And again, just cycle to more turns, and it's pretty easy. So again, this is a strategy that's not going to be effective against every team in the arena, but it's something a little bit outside the box that you guys can consider employing, maybe for tag team, or maybe if you just want to mess around in the arena and, you know, use this strategy for teams that you know that you're a little bit faster than. But not a bad speed aura on Archmage Hellmut at 19% either at the end of the day. All right, let's go ahead and run this in... I'll just run it in Dragon's Lair. And I just want to compare the damage again. Actually, in Dragon, it's going to be so easy in Dragon's Lair, right? I mean, is that really interesting to see at this point? I don't know. You guys can tell me. You know, instead of Sky Touch, let's go ahead and just switch it up with Reliquary Tender, make it a little bit more friendly. And then I don't think I have. Actually, I do, right? Speed and Fashion Crypts, Arena Battles. I don't have any aura. Again, you guys get so mad when I don't use an aura, but no aura necessary. You know, you don't need an aura when the opponent doesn't get a turn. Against the dragon, though, it's we're not going to die, but we're not going to be the fastest team. There is no poisons on this team or anything like that. But again, you can see here, I don't think there's going to be one opponent who gets a turn, period. In either of these waves. And again, it just goes to further illustrate why this strategy can be so effective in Doom Tower, where there are no bosses, right? I mean, if the enemy team can't go, then you're looking pretty good. And Armina has like that really cool synergy. Another type of champion you can partner together with Armina to form kind of a dynamic little duo is a champion who has full turn meter depletion, because then you can land the stuns as well. Landing more stuns will increase her turn meter, and it's all a cyclical kind of cool synergistic kit that she has. And you know, champions like that, the first ones that come to mind are actually legendaries with full turn meter depletion, like Razin Scarhide and like Nethril. I think he has 75% on Bat Swarm. Either way, there's a bunch of them out there. Even if it's not full turn meter depletion, champions that reduce turn meter, champions like Judge, champions like Diabolist, for rare examples, could be kind of cool champions to consider pairing with Armina to get the full value of her kit. So after this run, guys, I'm going to go ahead and show you the gear on all these champions, and then we'll wrap this video up. If you're curious as to what I have planned in the future in terms of like, I do maybe, I don't know, 2 videos a month kind of talking about team strategy, how to build a team around certain abilities. The next one that I have for you guys, it might not be the next, but maybe in 2 months or in a month and a half, because it's taking forever for me to farm, or I should say to forge the gear, is a team in 100% Frostbite. So that should be a really fun one to watch. I just need to get 5 decent pieces of every single artifact in Frostbite, which is taking me absolutely forever. But it's pretty cool to have like a 30% chance to place freeze on the attacker every single time anybody on your team is hit. Is it worth it? Probably not, I'm gonna say, but it will be fun to have a whole team in Frostbite and kind of see how that works. You know, even having a Provoker in 3 Frostbite pieces, I think is a pretty cool strategy to mess around with. I'm not saying it's better than, you know, a lot of other sets out there, to be fair, but it's kind of interesting, and I do see. I don't see it as extremely likely, but I see it as a strong possibility that Plarium will go in and potentially give small buffs to all those new artifact sets, because I do believe they landed a little bit on the soft side. All the Doom Tower exclusive artifact sets, I think Plarium's probably aware of that, so I wouldn't be shocked to see a buff to all the rewards that you get from Doom Tower in terms of the artifact forgery sets. So anyway, guys, we did a 3-minute dragon run is nothing to write home about, but you guys can get the overall strategy here, especially against the first 2 waves. And again, Armina and Archmage Hellmut were our damage dealer leaders there. So Archmage, we were surprised when we did a video guide on him at how much damage he was able to put out. Certainly in a really incredible champion. I don't put him on the same level as Scyl of the Drakes, but I put him in that same category as champions that eventually, albeit taking a long time for the majority of people out there, eventually you can farm in this game. Let's go ahead and show you the artifacts on these guys, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this video up and briefly take a look at all of their kits. So Scyl of the Drakes, she has a stun set. I'm a big fan of putting my Scyl in a stun set, getting that extra chance on the A2 at landing that stun, because I want it to be, I want this to be as consistent as humanly possible. As it stands right now, it's 35% times 2 on each of the AoEs. We have the extra kind of added chance of a stun as well, thanks to the stun set. We have decreased speed on the A1. We have revival on the A3, and we have heals on the passive. In terms of masteries on my Scyl of the Drakes, we went with Fearsome Presence to get that up to a 40% chance stun on the A2. As you guys know, really keen on getting that stun to land on all the enemies every single time. So 40% each hit, plus again the 23% stun on the stun set because of that Fearsome Presence again. And I have her, decent gear, I guess. 74% crit rate, 214 crit damage, 4200 on the defense, and then speed being what, 177. Not too bad. It could use her a little. I'd rather have her be a little bit faster actually now. Maybe the banner could be a good source of speed. No, banner we already have 17 speed, but I would like her to be over 200 speed ideally, because her passive every time it goes, we're getting those heals off as well. Anyway, that's Scyl of the Drakes. I have her in just stun set, as I said, with crit damage, defense, and speed. Who else do we have on this team? We have Archmage Hellmut. Who's next? Okay, Sky Touched. So we have Sky Touch Shaman in, as I mentioned, immunity and speed. We have her very fast, hence getting all those heals off of her passive, 250 speed. She is also speed tuned for my arena team. We have 100% crit rate, because why not? She has an AoE on her A1 as well. And that's basically it. Masteries, we did go with Timely Intervention, increases the champion's turn meter by 20% whenever an ally HP drops below 25%. Let's go ahead and move over. Oh, just for artifacts, we have crit rate, HP percentage, and speed on the boots. Next up, we have Armina. Armina, as I said, very weird kit that we have on her here. We have Relentless. We have attack percentage gauntlet. I pulled these, Relentless legendary 6-star. Attack percentage, normally I would just throw them away, but I'm like, hey, speed, I'll see if I get a speed roll here. And I got 1, and then I got 2, and then I got an attack, and then I got 3 on the 16. So I was like, all right, I'll use it. And I use a 6-star glyph as well. So yeah, a lot of speed out of this piece. But however, she is so low on crit damage, which is unfortunate. We have 149, 89, but look at that attack, 5,300. I would be curious. You know what I'll do, guys? I'll show you, I'm going to wrap this up really quickly, and I'll show you just the end of her on that same Doom Tower, floor with crit damage instead, and just compare the numbers just for the heck of it. So we have a crit damage really getting it from the amulet here. Even masteries, I have War Master. You could have made the case that maybe go Flawless Execution to get that extra crit damage if you're going to go attack percentage on the gauntlets, but we didn't change her masteries at all. We still have War Master, Kill Streak as well, Methodical. We went crit attack percentage, attack percentage, and speed on the boots. We have attack and cruel on her. On our Archmage Hellmut, we have 2 speed and 1 perception, making sure his accuracy is nice and high. We have, again, crit rate. We have defense, and we have speed on his boots. We have crit damage, I think. Crit damage on his banner. Excuse me, on his amulet. There we go. And accuracy on his banner. And masteries on Archmage, we have War Master and Retribution and Cycle of Revenge as well, really good on this champion, so really solid masteries here. Very happy with those on Archmage Hellmut. Archmage Hellmut, by the way, on his A2, attacks one enemy. We already went over this, but you know, really, really cool ability to have. And the Psychic Guidance has increased speed, crit rate, and crit damage on a 3-turn cooldown. Really a big fan of this dude. Really a big fan. And last but not least, we have, I think I'm not forgetting anybody, or am I? We have Bellower. Bellower again, basic, very basic build here in Stun Set. He has an AoE on every single ability. You guys know Bellower. Really solid champion. We have him built in crit damage, attack percentage, and speed on the boots. Total stats here, 88 and 201. So definitely built out for damage. Definitely a nuke Bellower build. So it says a lot that Armina was still out damaging him with 3 AoEs versus Armina in the Relentless gear. Okay, I'm going to make that swap, and I'll be right back. So just so you guys can see the stat differential here, now we have 222 crit damage, 95 crit rate, but speed is way down at 151 compared to what it was, because we lost all that speed off of the gauntlets that we removed. So it was 79, I believe, in hard. Let's go same team and see how much damage she does. Be right back. All right, guys, wrapping up right now. Round 3, around 3 minutes total time. I forgot what our first time was, but I can definitely see her hitting harder on her A1. There's no doubt about that. It's a matter of how much did the speed offset, and did it really, you know what, a little bit more damage, right? If I remember correctly, I can't speak today. I can never speak on this channel. Gosh. If I remember correctly, she was around 730,000 or so on the first run. And now she's at 786. So, you know, I guess not a huge difference, but, you know, could be a little bit RNG too based on how many times her Relentless procced. So not enough to read into that much. I'm going to say at the end of the day, if I could find speed, crit, damage gauntlets, I would go ahead and use those. But all things considered here, negligible difference overall. I would say maybe slightly better with crit damage, guys. That's going to do it for the video. Let me know if you have any other interesting champion combinations you'd like to see me cover here on the channel. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.